Captains are out here in Kinnegad and they're just leaving the referee, and you see that is Laura Fleming, the captain of Roscommon, and she's just been in for the toss, and she's a key player on this team. She drives forward relentlessly, almost recklessly. She's been injured in the last couple of games. She's so brave for her team, and she really is a serious driving force for them, making goals and scoring them. And she is back for them today. And there's the number 8 you see in there, the other midfielder, just getting the ball out of the back of the net there. And that, of course, is the world champion boxer. That is Lisa O'Rourke. And dare I say it, will she be landing a knockout blow today against Louth in this TG4 All-Ireland Intermediate Championship game? And that's Caroline Conway there, just playing a little bit with knocking the ball behind there. She's been around since 2001 for Roscommon, although not continuously. She was there in the All-Ireland Junior Championship way back 21 years ago and left the scene, I think, around 2008. Has come back in recent years, so she is having a new lease of life there, and just as fit as any of those young lassies out there. And there's the Louth team there warming up. That's Rebecca Carr there going for a return ball, the number 12. She's very good in the frees and got a goal in one of the games, although it was a free actually that dropped into the net. But very, very good player, and Louth have been very, very impressive. The sun is trying its best to come out here, but we've such a mixture of weather here. It's quite unbelievable at this time of year what you get in the space of just about an hour. Now with me I have Emma Murphy. Emma, you're very welcome.
Thanks, Jerome.
Just talking about the weather here. I mean, one minute it's lovely and the next minute it's December.
Yeah, it's a significant wind actually going left to right as well, so that'll probably play a factor in the game today. But gorgeous sunshine, but it is quite chilly up here too.
Well, I was out in the pitch there over by the goals over to the right, and the wind, I checked it, and it looked like it's going across the pitch from us across the pitch. So it would mean that when we look at the flags on the far side as well, you can see that they're fluttering and you can hardly see them, which means it's going that way. So it looks like, there you see them in the shot there, it looks like the flags are going that way, which means the wind is going straight across the pitch, which wouldn't benefit either team.
No,
just makes it a tough for them to play.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, it's difficult conditions enough with the wind, but gorgeous playing surface here in Kinnegad, and it should be a great match.
It should be, yeah. I mean, the surface is great, and we're looking forward to lots of goals. We're not having any of this 0-9 against 0-9 stuff. There should be lots of goals here, do you think?
Yeah, I think so. When they met earlier on in the league in the round robin, in probably the worst conditions I've ever seen for a match up in the Cooley Peninsula, back in March or April.
February actually, 2-5 to 2-4. Yeah, that was I remember that weekend of the storms.
There were goals that weekend as well. So both teams do like to take a goal, and you've seen that throughout the championship. So expecting an end-to-end game today.
Yeah, I mean, Roscommon, I was looking at it there, their scores, I mean, 4-9 against Down, and they lost that day, 4-10 to 4-9. 4-9 against Kildare, they met Kildare again, scored 4-10, 3-9 against Longford, and 3-12 against Sligo. They were actually the biggest scorers in Division 3 in the National League with 13 goals, so lots of goals from them, and Louth know where the goals are as well. Although the last game I saw them play, I was at the game 2 games ago where they beat Down, and I watched the game where they beat Clare, and they actually have a really good setup there. They're not wide open, so they will be trying to keep the scores down, do you think? Yeah,
they're really strategic in what they do. Louth, they beat last week. They beat a really fancied Clare team who had gone through the Connacht Championship unbeaten. They couldn't play in the semi-finals or the finals, but they were getting game time. And Louth had an excellent, really strong performance, really structured performance against them, and came away from Clare with a win. So
number 8 there, sorry, just to interrupt you, that's Aoife Halligan there. She's one of their key players. She actually scored a goal against Clare after 3 minutes in the last game, and she's good at setting up the goals as well. And of course her sister came on as a sub famously in the last couple of minutes and got a goal in added time in the game against Down as well. So the Halligan sisters, I interviewed them after that game. They're key players as well, and she's a good driving force. But I was really impressed by Louth, and they beat Clare and they've beaten Down in the championship. 2 big wins. But what do you think, Emma? Is this a step up for them today?
Well, look, Louth have really performed well throughout the championship. They didn't have a great Leinster intermediate, but they've taken learnings from the Leinster championship and come in here. 2 good wins. Louth are an impressive force as well. Down are an impressive force as well. So, probably they were unexpected and unexpected to do as well as they've done. But they've excellent players. I mean, Kate Flood is just an unbelievable right boot, left boot.
Well, actually, when you say that, see the game against Down, she actually didn't feature at all. and then against Clare she scored a couple of great points. So she's been the go-to player over the last how many years, and yet now maybe it's a sign of the way that Louth team is that she didn't need to stand out. They were a very good team apart from her, you know.
I think that's what makes them impressive, and I think that's what the step up they've taken from junior to intermediate is that other players around her have taken that step up, and you know, to compete well at this level, you know, you do need a full squad and a full panel that are, you know, willing to come in from 1 to 30. So you know, it's great to see from a Louth perspective that there's been like a real kind of team effort over the last number of games.
Yeah, well, we saw them last year winning a Leinster minor title, and they won Division 4 in the league as well. So they're a county on the up, and it's good to see them. And they've got a bit of confidence about them as well. They're really enjoying this run. There they are, right in the middle. Let's have a look at their actual team now, the Louth team. And there's only one change today from the team that was named during the week, and that is at right cornerback. So Ailish Hand, the number 2, is not playing. She's not here, and she is replaced by the number 25, Holly Lamb Sally from Geraldines. So she is in. Number 25 is in. Goalkeeper, of course, Rebecca Lamb Fagan. And down the middle there you have Sarah Quinn at fullback, who actually plays her club football in Dublin with Foxrock Cabinteely, and the captain is at centre half back. And as I say, Aoife Halligan at midfield. We've already featured her. Laura Collins in the left corner, Kate Flood in the other corner, and Laura Collins has scored a goal already against Roscommon this year, that coming in the National League. So that is their lineup. Let's go straight on to the Roscommon lineup. Not too many changes here either. Rachel Fitzmaurice at fullback, former soccer star with Ireland. And the manager is Ollie Lennon, and I see his 3 boys up here in the stand, by the way, watching the game. They're here for a little bit of support. And Laura Fleming, of course, the captain, is at midfield with Lisa O'Rourke. And then you have the McHugh sisters. You have Jenny Higgins, who's been scoring goals like she's always been scoring goals. She got a goal against Longford and another against Kildare in their championship matches so far, and I can't remember how many years she's been scoring goals now, but so reliable and such a terrific player. But also watch out for the likes of Fiona Tully, who got 2 goals against Kildare, and Aisling Hanley, a young player coming through, and she's from the same club as Fiona Tully, and she wears a white helmet, and she was a minor last year. Super young player as well. And to be clear as well, what it means is that from this game today, it's knockout, of course, and the winner of this will go through to play either Wexford or Tyrone in the All-Ireland semi-finals. The referee is Gus Chapman from Sligo. All it remains is for Emma Murphy to call it.
It's a difficult one, Jerome.
No, don't give me that.
Let's say the heart is saying Roscommon. I think it would be a close match, though.
Okay, well, Jenny Higgins is out there, of course, number 11 for the throw-in, but it's actually Lisa O'Rourke who got her hands on it, and it's Roscommon going towards the Louth goal right at the start of the game and moving the ball through the hands really nicely as well. And this is the number 7, Niamh Feeney. 2 excellent teams here. They play such enterprising, bright, attacking football. Lots of talented players on both sides, and Louth are more up and coming, I would say, over the last while, and they'll be very pleased with the progress that they have been making. So it's intriguing to see if they'll be able to carry that on. They've had great results against Down and against Clare. They went to Clare and beat them down there. Now, they were 4 points down at half time. They had to dig it out, but they did, and they were so delighted with themselves beating Down as well in that game. So 2 wins. Now, this is Caroline Conway wearing 15 as always, but as always also playing as a sort of third midfielder back there. She'll just sit in there. In fact, she stopped there around the middle of the field, and let's see attack progress. And they have such good forwards. She doesn't need to go up there. They've plenty as it is, and this is one of them, Jenny Higgins from Western Gales, plays for Clonagale. And they have a chance here of a goal actually in the first couple of minutes, and it comes out though. Louth have closed the door quite well, and Fleming manages to get her kick away. It is the first score of the game, and it shows the intent, and already we see the pattern, Emma, that Roscommon very good attacking and Louth shut the door.
Yeah, very really good attack there from Natalie McHugh. She recycled the ball really well out to Laura Fleming, who's always dangerous at that right boot, and she took a great score.
So it seems to be Louth's organisation from the previous few games, if they can make that work today, or will Roscommon counter that? They love to go for goals. They also concede them as well. I'll come back to that. And this is Laura Collins now on that right foot, and she goes for it from distance but doesn't judge that one. It looked a little bit ambitious from there, and the transfer from the goalkeeper Cummins is effective and quick, getting it out to Niamh Feeney. And you see the pattern there as well, that this will be an open game, fast moving, both teams just wanting to get on with it. and both teams turning over, which we've seen quite a lot already, and I think we've seen more turnovers from Louth. Haven't scored yet though. Just over 2 minutes in, 1.2, no score. And Louth making a little bit of a meal of this. Challenge coming in from O'Rourke, but doesn't get there, and instead Rebecca Carr now has a little bit of room. She's primarily left-footed, and that's why she's coming inside. Manages to get it, but a little bit scrappy so far in an attacking sense for Louth, but Ciara Woods tries to do something about it, and there you see the wind we were talking about. It's going straight across the pitch, and we'll give her a bit of an out there by saying that the wind caught that one, although I don't think it was going to be on target anyway. Now the goalkeeper Cummins won a Team of the League award this year, and went up to Croke Park to collect that, and she picks out Caroline Conway. I told you she's wearing 15, but she's actually in the number 2 position, but now gives it to the number 2, that's Sinead Kenny, and Conway gets it again, so she likes to knit things together there on the defensive side of the field and give it to the forwards and give it to Higgins. Higgins plays it low, looking for Hanley. Hanley doesn't quite get there though, and this was a feature of the Louth game that I saw against Down. Very organised at the back, lots of work rate, lots of good young players, and the amount of blocks and interceptions that they made was phenomenal, and they broke Down's hearts steadily through the second half of that game and actually relegated Down. I don't think Down relegated or realised that on the day, but they were relegated that day. This is Halligan now. Roscommon have put up their own defensive structure, and there goes the long ball into the forwards, trying to get round the extra players there, but it was too much for Laura Collins, and Cummins comes out and sweeps up and gets it to Fleming, who is a bundle of energy, and as I said at the start, a driving force today, and gives it back to Rachel Brady. Fleming shows it and then goes the other way, looking for some room up ahead, but lots of red jerseys there, and I see Lisa O'Rourke trying to stretch the play over this side off the camera, and she's now trying to get the ball, and Rebecca Carr came across and just got in the way, but the referee's bringing it back anyway. Your thoughts so far, Emma?
Yeah, it's kind of it's set the tone really. It's quite end to end, and everything is through the hands and fast paced. But both teams have an awful lot of intent in the tackle and in the defensive system. I saw Fiona Tully make a 40-yard dash here now to win the ball back and put pressure on the Louth kicker. So it's I think it's two teams that play very similar type of football. So it is going to be a strategically entertaining one.
Roscommon now trying to get a score, their second of the game if they can get it. Left-footed kick comes in, and it is Tully, but it goes wide. We have a final score from elsewhere, and it's in a significant one. London have beaten Carlow in the junior championship 110 to 1-9. Good win for London today, but it's Carlow who advance alongside Fermanagh from that group. It's still an interesting one there, and a great win for London. Good to see them getting a result, and I know people could say it's not that meaningful, but at the same time it's great to see them winning a game in the championship. Certainly justifies their participation all the way through, and hopefully they'll come back next year in the league and championship and claim a few more wins. This is Halligan for Louth. Louth dropping the ball quite a lot, Emma, aren't they? They're sort of spilling a little bit, whatever that's about. Maybe it's just the conditions.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering that there is a bit, whether it was the ball or there was conditions. There's a little bit of handling errors going on from both sides, to be honest. So it'd be one to watch, really. Yeah,
maybe as I say, it is just the wind and it's early stages or whatever. They're just settling into it. And there's Kate Flood has come all the way out to get her hands on the ball, gives it to Carr, and Carr goes inside and finds a little bit of room there. She's in the fast lane, Rebecca Carr, but Caroline Conway does brilliantly there to get a hand in, and that is a textbook tackle there to stop that. And there's me and you talking about all the high scoring, and so far they are cancelling each other out.
Yeah, it's kind of it is a bit of a tactical one here. So both teams they're driving straight through which is and playing quite direct, but it has been quite low scoring. So
defence is on top is the cliche that we use, but it applies there. And as I say, there's a lot of turnovers.
Yeah, a lot of turnovers, and slightly biased, but a good turnover from Caroline there on the 13.
Good ball by Jenny Higgins, and Roscommon might get in behind now, but you see the number of red shirts getting back in the way there already, and the referee says that is not a foul, or has he given it a free in? Maybe he has, but it was interesting to see so many Louth players getting back. They work so hard.
And that's a corner back, Sinead Kenny driving straight through. Brilliant energy, Sinead Kenny, and driving all the way through, a real Roscommon stalwart.
Yeah, two excellent teams here today, and definitely contenders for the All-Ireland. They will play the winners of Wexford or Tyrone in the semi-finals. We'll see how that one goes today. And on the other side of that, you have Laois against Wicklow. That's the game on after this one here today. And Kinnegad, winners of that will play Clare or Longford. I mean, take your pick from that one, Emma. Who do you think for the All-Ireland? Can you even pick one?
Do you know what? It's actually really difficult at the moment with the intermediate to actually pick, who's going to win. If you're asking at the start, I would have said Kildare nearly would have been odds on, and then for them to go out so early. But Laois have been excellent. They really have been really, really strong. I thought Clare were excellent throughout the Connacht Championship, so it's wide open.
Right, this is great work by the captain, Shannon McLaughlin, coming forward. She's looking for help, but she's over-carried. And good discipline defending again by Roscommon. And again, it's no score from an attack. So it's 1 point to no score after over 8 minutes. We wouldn't have thought that, but as I say, defences are on top so far. Now, I did say earlier on when I was out on the pitch, I was over by the goals area, strong wind, and I thought, that's going to be really tricky to play good football, and that is definitely a factor here today. It's hard to knit things together. I mean, sometimes you get a wind and it's on your back, but when it's coming across the pitch, it's really hard to judge. Higgins now, who's obviously getting a lot of attention out there every time she gets the ball. And I'd say, despite all the goals that these teams have scored so far, the key will be not to concede goals. That'll have been the message before the game. So that's why Higgins is getting a lot of attention, and both teams are focusing a lot on defence early on. Particularly Louth are probably realising that this Roscommon team can score goals at will. Higgins now, and again you see she is being very closely watched in there, and she's blocked down again, and it's yet another turnover. 1 point in over 9 minutes. Carr twirls and gives it to Russell, and there's the 25, Holly Lamb Sally. Gives and tries to get it back again, but they come back. Hannah O'Neill now. This is Roisin Kavanagh. So not the fireworks we expected, and certainly no goal chances yet, and Louth yet to score. 10 minutes gone, and they've had one effort, I think, and it was quite well wide, and that's about it from Louth. But they're only 1 point down, and they might get an equaliser here. That's good work by Kieran Nolan, leaving it off. An unorthodox solo, and eventually the decision goes to Roscommon. But yeah, Emma, isn't it amazing? I mean, Louth, not a single score and not really an effort. They haven't had anything on target. Well, actually, did one that dropped short, but you couldn't really count that either. Yeah,
it was a little bit unfortunate there for Kate Flood. She actually hand-passed the ball to herself in the air. There's, mistakes kind of happening right across, but as soon as both teams get towards either goal, it's swarm defence, both very conscious of the goal threat on either side.
Roscommon player getting a little bit of treatment over there on the far side from us, but we go on with the play. Cummins gets it back, gives it to Rachel Fitzmaurice from the St. Kieran's club. Played in a lot of All-Ireland finals when she was a little bit younger. This is the centre half back Aisling McAuliffe from Strokestown, and another free for Roscommon. Stop-start game so far, but they keep trying to get it to Higgins, and the referee says come back, we got to do that, but again as well it wasn't taken from the right place, so McAuliffe will take it again, and she's going to go back, and you see from the shots there as well, lots of, I was going to say yellow, it's not yellow, sure it's not, isn't it? Is it primrose?
Primrose and blue.
Excuse me, primrose and blue, of course it is. That's the song. This is Aisling Hanley now over by the scoreboard in the corner, getting it back out. Higgins now takes it on the run, but is forced to go back to Feeney, and she is blocked down. How many times have we seen that already today? That's great work by Sarah Quinn. And that was a feature of their game against Down. They work so hard, get lots of blocks and lots of interceptions, but you need to score as well, and they have no scores as yet. The red jersey and the red boots leaves it off. And they're looking for the ball over the top, or it's actually low, but it's still getting to the same place. It's getting to the full forward area, and Collins just puts it very high into the air, and that could be dangerous. It's just dropping in and around there, but it's well defended by Rachel Brady. And the goalkeeper will deal with that, and that's a lovely ball out by her as well. Starting to rain here now in Kinnegad, making it even more difficult for the players, and neither team really has settled in, and you have to partly blame the conditions for that. Really tricky out there. Sunny 1 minute, rain the next. That's good running by Halligan from Roach Emmets. She scored a goal against Clare after just 3 minutes of that game. She takes an effort here, but it's gone to the right and wide, and neither her nor her team has a single score as yet in this game.
Yeah, the conditions have just gotten an awful lot worse, Jerome. There's a bit of drizzly weather out here beside us as well, so it's going to be an interesting first half.
Well, it's nice to be up in the stand here and not out in that rain, but it's difficult for the players. Wind going across the pitch and rain as well. It's like we started in June and now we're in October. th minute. Louth yet to score, but their captain looks like she means to do something about that. Looks to give it to Flood, but it's well intercepted. Good defending. Not sure who got that out. Was it Roisin Wynn? It was Roisin Wynn. Yeah, she got out and really anticipated that well. Now, referee is actually going to bring the ball all the way back again. I was wondering why there wasn't so much energy from Louth players trying to get back, and it really is stop-start. It's quite a frustrating game. Yeah,
and the referee has been he's been very diligent in actually saying, you know, from the correct position, wait for my whistle. So it's probably something for the teams to pick up on.
Actually, a game I was doing yesterday, the co-commentator made the same point actually, and it was quite frustrating to watch. You'd like the game to flow, but you know, then the other side is that the rules are rules and you've got to take it from the right place, but it does slow the game down. But maybe it's just a factor in the first half and it'll open up a little bit later on, but it's 1-0 after a quarter of the game, and we didn't expect that. We expected intermediate for there to be lots of goals, but Louth keep going forward with good attacking intent and get to around here, and then it kind of breaks down. So let's see if they can do something about that. Maybe it's good defending. We have to praise the Roscommon setup there, and that is Michaela McHugh getting in a hand just to try and stop them up, but McLaughlin, or hold them up, but McLaughlin gets it, and here's a chance now for the first score of the game, and it's Kate Flood. She's put it very high, and the wind might be carrying it in. Umpires watching it closely, and I think he's going to give it wide. There he is, isn't he? So another wide, and the Flood gates have not opened.
No, they haven't.
Excuse the pun.
Just pulled to the right and wide.
Cummins with that lovely languid style in her kicking there with a kick out, but this time it is spilled, and it's in Louth's favour. Fleming got a bit of a knock there, and she usually gets a bit of a knock in games. She's so brave, and she was in the wars there again, and she's up and at it though. Now Carr is there, but look at the yellow jerseys there in their setup. They're not letting a way through, and this is the modern way, of course, these days. You see it so much, and then they turn them over, and this is McHugh now. Michaela McHugh might be looking for her sister, number 14, but she's a long way away up in full forward. Roscommon trying to get through, and there's a foul there. Intriguing contest so far, but definitely not what you'd call vastly entertaining so far. 16 minutes gone, tricky conditions, 1-0.
And Lisa O'Rourke trying to drive through there. She's a great running force, and she was fouled once, twice, and possibly 3 times. Yeah, and it's almost like teams are happy enough to foul out and around that area. And do referees tick as much around that area when it's sort of just a little bit of a, what you would call a half foul sometimes, you know, and the players definitely know that they can do it out there. You see it a lot, don't you? Very much so. Very much so. It's the right area for a non-tickable offence.
Yeah, and I see players sometimes are quite clever with their body language as well. It's, oh, I'd hardly touched her, you know, but it is quite deliberate, and it really slows the game down, and it puts referees in a tricky position then.
Very much so, and it's, you know, it's something to think about in the game, with particularly with the yellow card offence. You know, having that is having such an impact on games sometimes.
It's Roisin Kavanagh and the Red Boots driving forward and drawing a free, but it's yet another free. Now they're looking for the ball in from McLaughlin, trying to get it in there quickly to Collins, and gets it to her, but she's been very closely marked and having to come all the way back out again. And then she runs into a wall, literally, almost. And the referee's going to hop that one, but yeah, no fluidity to the play at all on either side, and we haven't had any drama for the crowd here to enjoy, or anybody watching as well. There's been not one goal incident or anything even near it, really.
No, and I think the crowd are getting a bit itchy, actually. But there are mistakes on both sides, and defences definitely are on top, and there's a lot of, you know, good blocks and hands in and turnovers, but it is very, very stop-start at the moment.
Well, we like to accentuate the positives, but it's kind of accentuating the negatives, if you like, because it's all defensive play that we are celebrating. And I know there's people who will say, well, defensive play has to be admired as well, but people come here to see lots of good attacking play and nice scoring, and we just haven't seen any of that. 18 minutes gone, 1 point to nil.
I wonder what odds you would have got on that, Jerome, before the start of this match.
I know. And this is where Roscommon are just sitting in there saying, well, we're not going to come chasing, we'll wait for you to come in. And quite a few times they've come in and they've lost the ball. They've run into traffic like this. Now this is better from Ciara Woods, trying to get it in behind, but look who's there again. It's Rachel Fitzmaurice again, and now she's on the ball. And they try to break at speed. This is the way these days, and she's got room in front of her now, and Aisling Hanley is showing. And there she is, getting the ball, or getting towards the ball, but it's gone out of play on the far side. And neither team getting going at all, and neither team showing what they're capable of. But I guess both managements will be saying, well, it's not about entertaining you guys, we're just in the game.
You know, that's knockout football a lot of the time as well. You know, we're at quarter-final stages, so there's no room for error.
Yeah, do you think that's a big factor here? It's not a group game, this is business.
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, this is like Louth have stepped up from junior to intermediate, made an All-Ireland quarter-final, and, you know, Roscommon, you know, have, after a difficult year last year, are looking for to get back into a semi-final again.
Good running by Ciara Nolan, number 5 for Louth, going forward with attacking intent, but good tackling back by Sinead Kenny, and Conway is there to sweep up, and Roscommon really have nullified the Louth threat. Not that there's been too much of a threat, but any time they get over the 45 or around the 45, they have been dispossessed, and it's pretty much the same at the other end, as you see. I remember an All-Ireland final a couple of years ago, wasn't it, Galway against Dublin, and I think they went 22 minutes before a single score, and I think that was a goal actually, but the conditions were awful that day, but it was also the way that the teams are set up, and now we're seeing it at intermediate. And you see the officials on the far side, Yvonne Brady there, and Gary Owen McMahon, 4th official today. Pressure exerted by Niamh Feeney. She leaves it off now to Halligan, pursued by McHugh. And no room at all for Louth to prosper, and in the end, Flood forced to chase back and doesn't get there. So it's Roscommon's chance, and there are players over here actually, and you can see now it's quite visible that Louth are struggling to get back in the same way they were in the first 10 minutes or so, and that's the thing about the work rate. You know, you can't keep it up the whole way through the game. And Roscommon now might get through, and that was Hanley leaving it off nicely. And Natalie McHugh is there, and Higgins is going to put it over the bar, I fancy. Is that dropped over? It has indeed, and that's the classic counter-attack, and it's 2 points to nil for Roscommon after 21 minutes.
Yeah, Roisin Wynne and Rachel Brady did really, really well there. Natalie McHugh laying it off to Jenny Higgins, and second score of the game.
Halligan comes to get the kick out and does well to get possession. Hanley gets in with a foot, but that is a free. Noticed an incident like that in the Dublin Mayo game as well yesterday, where the foot went in. It's such a tough one. The referee gave it, but the Mayo player was a little bit exasperated, and there were quite a few frees given in that game, and that one was for the foot going in, and she was saying, well, I just got to tote it in time, but you tend not to get those. Now, Louth still without a score. They get through the 45, fending off a few tackles. They give it to Carr, but once again, the ball is broken down, and it was kind of their own fault that time. They moved it a little bit too fast, and you know, they are a young team, Emma, and maybe they just need something to settle themselves here. Maybe it's a big day for them being in an intermediate quarter-final.
Yeah, absolutely. There does look to be a little bit of nervousness there, so yeah, maybe someone just to take a score and settle them down.
Will this be it? Can she judge the wind? We think it's going from right to left, and that looks good, actually. She's connected well, and it does drop over the bar, and that's exactly the score that Emma said they were looking for. That's Laura Collins. She takes the freeze from the right side, and she took that one expertly, and we'll see what effect that has in the game now. 2-1, Louth are on the scoreboard. And the kick out from Cummins goes to this side again, and Rebecca Carr says thank you. She gets it. She's been pursued by Lisa O'Rourke, but she's always going to come onto that left foot. It's a great left foot. I mentioned it earlier, and there's 2 in a minute for Louth. Now they feel an awful lot better, and that was all about Rebecca Carr. Super score by the girl from Geraldine's.
Yeah, turnover off the kick out, and an excellent score off the left boot.
2-2. 23 minutes gone. Cummins decides to go the other side this time. Don't blame her after the last one with the car. Now a pretty obvious push in the back there by Emer Murray on Natalie McHugh. So a free for Roscommon. But again, just slows the whole thing down, Emma, doesn't it? And Louth players able to get back, and I'm not sure if she got ticked or not for that. Maybe you have more chance of getting ticked when you're near the goal, although of course that's not what the rule says.
Yeah, I know it is. It's an interesting one. Louth are happy to foul her in that middle of the pitch, slow everything down, and then get everybody back behind the ball. But excellent running again by Natalie McHugh.
Oh, this is good play by Roscommon. Really well worked and really well finished as well by Fiona Tully. This is better. We were lamenting the first 20 minutes, but in the last 2 or 3 minutes, both teams have come up with some excellent action.
Yeah, and Fiona, excellent score from Fiona Tully there. She's such a relaxed style. She's come through the underdogs this year, and a great addition to the Roscommon panel.
She was on the underdogs, I didn't realise that.
Yeah, Fiona was an underdog this year, yeah.
Wow. Scored 2 goals against Kildare, and I thought, oh, she's good, so they got her from that. That's amazing. So she wouldn't have been on it otherwise, do you think? Well,
she's an excellent club player. She's did a few excellent club seasons as well. But, so, you know, it wasn't a surprise when Fiona kind of came in this year into the squad and the setup. Kilbride have an excellent setup, and Fiona's part of that for a good while.
Wasn't there one of the early men's players? Was it Kieran Donaghy in Kerry? I think he even came through that star.
That's correct, yeah.
He's kind of busy today, mind you, with another county, but that's another story. Oh, well intercepted by Fiona Tully. We're talking about her, and she transfers it brilliantly to Natalie McHugh. Roscommon now trying to find a little bit more joy and trying to move the ball quicker and not let Louth get back so easily. And that's a ball into Hanley, but how many times have we seen a ball just evade forwards? But she does well to get it back. Good work by Hanley from the same club as Tully, Kilbride. And this is Fleming on her right foot and swings about it, and it just comes off the post. It was one of those ones you're thinking, has the keeper got this? That could be a tricky one, and I'm not sure the keeper knew exactly where it is, but it didn't go over the bar or in the net, but might still end up there because Feeney's done well. I really like this player, Feeney, at wing back. She gets through a lot of work for Roscommon and does so again there. She won it, lost it, she's lost it again, but she's still battling for it. Really good defender, but in the end it's Louth who persist and get it up to Ciara Woods, and maybe it's they who now will try to break at speed. Now there's a little bit of room because they've got it to their danger woman. They've got it to Flood. Off she goes, and she's got support there from Emer Byrne. And they may even go for goal, or will they just take the point? They try to get their point. It's gone out for a 45. The game has just opened up, Emma.
Yeah, absolutely. And great defending there from Rachel Fitzmaurice and Rachel Brady. Really, really energetic to get back and get the hand in.
But the game opening up.
Very much so. Thankfully, the game has opened up.
And I think it's just really they're transferring the ball quicker, aren't they?
Yeah, the pace of the game is definitely upped. Their balls are being transferred in, and there's a little bit more room in there for the forwards.
Or is it the defenders just not quite getting back as quickly in big numbers?
I think it might be the pace, Jerome.
Right, 45 now for Collins. She put one over the bar from a free out of her hands just inside this. She'll take this one side-footed into the corner towards Carr, who got the second point. And she gets fouled by McAuliffe, so a free in, and this would be perfect, you would imagine, for Carr. Good angle for her on her left foot, and she will try to judge the wind here. I would imagine to go for the post nearest to her and try and drop it over. I say perfect, it's still a tricky one to do, but well beyond her means, but she doesn't judge it right, and the wind indeed carries it over to the left and wide, and it remains 3 points to 2, 27 minutes in. And there was me talking before the game about Roscommon's 3 goals against Sligo, 4 against Down, 4 against Kildare, 3 against Longford. Top scorers in Division 3 of the league as well, with 13 goals in their games, and not a sight of a goal today from either side. O'Rourke now. She plays a lovely ball into Hanley. She plays a nice ball into Higgins. This is better from Roscommon, but lots of red jerseys back there. Big numbers, and now they come out to meet the player on the ball, but the way to do it then is to transfer it quickly. They give it over to Tully, and she puts over her second point, and both taken really nicely.
Yeah, absolutely. And the transfer in the ball across the top of the D, it's actually given more room on the right-hand side, and a couple of great scores in a row from Fiona Tully.
You see that so often, even in the Dublin Meath big games. You know, it's all about moving the ball, and the quicker you move it, the less time, obviously, the defence has to get over. Oh, there's a chance here for Aisling McAuliffe. She's got in. It might even be a goal. Tully gives it inside to Hanley, and Hanley finishes it to the net. Oh my goodness, what a goal for Roscommon out of nothing. They capitalised there just before half-time. 1-4 to 2 points, and some of the young players involved there, and all coming from number 6 at the back there from the defence, Aisling McAuliffe, and it was Hanley in the end, one of the new minor players from last year, with the goal.
Yeah, and maybe Roscommon have learned from watching the Louth Clare match last week by pushing up on the kick out. Louth got an awful lot of return last week on their kick out, pushing up on the kick out. Great turnover from Aisling McAuliffe, transferred into Fiona Tully, who found her clubmate Aisling Hanley with palming the ball to the net.
Yeah, it was a Kilbride move there, wasn't it? And
maiden strokes down and finished in Kilbride.
Yeah, I noticed in one of the previous games actually that Roscommon were playing just after half-time. They conceded 2 goals in a minute, and they were both from kickouts that went wrong. So it's such a danger when you try to play these intricate kickouts, you know, and they're all trying to copy the likes of Meath there when they do that, but sometimes it just backfires.
The kickout is such a big important part of the game. It's become more and more important.
And there you go again. They're trying to get it, but it might go to Roscommon hands. It doesn't on that occasion. They get away with it. But now they've given it straight back to Roscommon, to Michaela McHugh. And Louth are down a player at this point. Now they've got a free there for a foul on Kieran Nolan, but Rebecca Carr is down getting treatment. So they have 14 players at the minute. Referee allowing play to go on. Free for Louth. They've scored 2 points, and they were both within about 45, maybe 60 seconds. Apart from that, they have had very little joy. They might now, though. Emer Byrne. Oh, and that's a nice ball out of the outside of her boot, and she's looking to get Collins into the game, but great work again by the fullback, Rachel Fitzmaurice, for Roscommon. Really good first half by Roscommon. The Rossies very solid at the back. They've only conceded 2 points and were in added time. They've been really impressive, Emma, haven't they?
Yeah, they have, and their backs are working really hard. Great teamwork there again. Rachel Fitzmaurice, Rachel Brady, Caroline Conway, they're all in on the ball. There seems to be 2 Rossies in every ball in defence. So
great battling here now, though, by Louth as well. And it was Halligan who won it, and then he transferred it quickly to Collins. And this time it does stick. Great work by Collins to get it from Newtown Blues, and she's wearing the blue boots as well. Has she got the finish? Left-footed, and it goes low, and she's annoyed with herself, but she does get a free. And that shows when they get the ball into her, she can cause trouble.
Yeah, she's been probably the most lively Louth player on the pitch. Really strong running there, forcing the foul, and unfortunate for her to just drop short.
Got a free though. The last one was taken by Carr, and she didn't get it. She misjudged it, so she's left it to Laura Collins, who put over one from much further out. You would imagine this should go over, judging by the fact that she got the first one. We'll see. Nice angle for her as well, and not as much power needed, and she judges it perfectly. I think people were going, ooh, she's gone wide, but it hasn't. Over the bar, and that means that Louth finish on a bit of a high at the end of the first half. 31 minutes 24 seconds played, 1-4 to 3 points. An intriguing game, not the goal fest that we maybe thought might happen, but it's still been very entertaining. And from a Louth point of view, I think they'll be happy that they are very, very much still in the game. And I don't mean that in any demeaning way, but they are in an All-Ireland intermediate quarter-final for the first time in maybe a long time, and they will want to stay in this game, and that's important for them, Emma.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, Louth, they've stayed in the game. A great goal there for Roscommon has given them a little bit of breathing room. But, you know, after a very tentative and tetchy first 20 minutes, it opened up in the last 10 minutes.
Absolutely. Players going in and getting a round of applause. Here in Kinnegad, it is 1-4 to 3 points. We'll be back right at the start of the second half. We'll take a break and we'll join you then.
Thank you very much. Welcome back to your game where we have just short of 4 came off the post. So still in the war at half time. 1 goal and 4 goals. As now, turn off possession. just inside the Roscommon 45-metre line, and referee Chris Chapman is giving a free in. No changes to either side at half time. 1 goal and 4 to North, 3 here. So 4 points down for Roscommon, no scoring. And ground down, an opportunity inside their own 45-metre line. 4 points between. Allowing the leading ladies 4-1. Here from Collins down, Kenny Gadd. The free by Laura Collins out behind the goal has gone wide. And Louth put wide the second half. 5 wide for Louth, 1 wide for Roscommon. Marina comes to the Roscommon goalkeeper. She ain't kidding. Rachel Fitzmaurice, Rachel Brady put that right. Rosie Lee after the corner. Jenny Higgins showing, picking up the loose possession over the far side of the field. High ball got inside there, looking for Ashley. Ball picked up there by the...
And it's Louth's turn to attack. The defending was by Holly Lamb-Sally, and her defending means that Louth are now on the attack, but that's a tricky one across the middle of the field. A couple of players collide and go down. Referee says it's okay, play on. The game getting very interesting now. Kavanagh gives it to Collins. Nice step inside, and she had a player on the right, but goes for her own score, and why not when you can take it like that? That is leadership for you, and that's a brilliant score by Laura Collins. She got her team's first in the first half. She's got her first in the second half as well.
Yeah, brilliant from Laura Collins, just over the left shoulder, and sails over the black spot.
Every time you see her going for a ball like that, you think, oh, it's a Kate Flood, because we've seen her doing that so many times
100%.
down the years.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now Kavanagh again calling for the ball. Louth are now fancying this, you know. They're back to within a goal. And this is where the game is going to get really nail-biting, because it is knockout. You lose this, you're out. Now there's maybe a foul on Flood from the back by Rushing Wynn, but the referee was there and he says no. But they definitely both went down, whatever was happening there. But I guess we're talking about Collins and Flood's impact on the game. But Flood is such a marked player these days from Louth, and very, very close marking, as you saw there, from Roscommon to stop her having an influence on the game. But then again, it leaves a bit of room for Laura Collins and other players maybe. Kavanagh now on the ball a lot in the second half for her team. Gives it to her midfield partner Halligan. Strong tackle comes in from Feeney. Referee says play on. 3-point lead. Lots of time in the second half, but this really, as I say, is do or die, because the loser is out of the championship. Year over. No second chances. Well, apart from a relegation playoff maybe. But that's a different kind of competition.
Relegation is done now in intermediate, unfortunately. That was done with the three-team, not unfortunately, but the three-team.
There is no relegation playoff.
No,
this
Sligo and Down automatically relegated because the two provincial winners were on the other two side of the group. The other two on the side of the group.
Collins with that familiar step up again, as you were saying, connects well, but just gone to the right and wide, and maybe it's the wind again. Both have gone right to the right-hand side and been wide on that side. So she hasn't judged those correctly. She did judge the one from play very well, though. Cummins now, her last kick was perfect, right up the middle, and it got a lot of distance on it as well. And she's a nice kicking style there, and the trajectory allows itself for going quite low and seems to gather pace, but not on this occasion. Out around the middle. It is a hot ball. Four plays 4. Touchdown is picked up by Fiona Tully, and Roscommon quickly transfer it into the forwards to Hanley, and she gets it despite all the red jerseys around her. And this is McHugh. She's forced to come back out. Higgins is there. Roscommon finding that Louth have been very, very quick to get players back on this occasion. They really seem to have upped the tempo in the second half, Louth, and now they've intercepted as well. And it's Halligan speeding forward. She's going to leave it off here and see what they can do, but brilliant work in defence there again. Was that Rachel Brady? I think it was.
It was Rachel Brady.
Cornerback. Brilliant work by the cornerback. And that's why Fleming now has the ball, and she's bursting through tackles. And on her right foot, that's a good strike, and it's gone over the bar. It was scored by Fleming, but we'll give all the credit to Rachel Brady.
Yeah, great turnover from Rachel Brady. Brilliant bat down from Jenny Shine. I actually thought that she got a little bit of a knock there. She batted that down, and Laura Fleming, who's been very tightly marked, did with an excellent score.
It's 1-5 to 4 for Roscommon as a result of that. Apologies, our scoreboard isn't working in this half, and I will do my best to keep you up to date, and you'll see it in some of the shots as well, so I'll keep you updated on that as often as I can. It's Roscommon 1-5, Louth 4 points. 4-point lead for Roscommon. 8 plays 4, and it's Roscommon on the lead on the attack again, and it's very overcast here now. The cloud cover is there, and it's looking like rain, even though we've some bright skies on the far side, but it's very dark here in Kinnegad. We really have nearly 4 seasons here in one afternoon. And it's Roscommon on the attack. That's lovely play, good support play off the shoulder, and it was from Aisling McAuliffe, and they're trying to create something here. Lisa O'Rourke in there as well. They're forced to come back out again. Higgins is there to Fleming. Lovely little dummy solo, but still tough challenge comes in, and just a little bit too tough from Halligan, and Fleming drew the free. I wonder who's going to take the free this time. They missed one earlier, and as you say, Fleming takes him. Might be a little bit too far out, and it looks like a substitution, and it looks like Hanley's going off, so she's not going to take it. And yes, Aisling Hanley going off for Roscommon. She got the only goal of the game so far, but she is now being replaced by the 21 for Roscommon, and that is Rosha, is it?
Rosha Lennon.
Rosha Lennon. R-O-I-S-E, Rosha. Nicely put over by Fleming, and she jumps and she tries to will her team on. They've given themselves a good platform here. 1-6 to 4, so it's 9 plays 4, 5-point lead for Roscommon. And of course it was Lennon, I think, who got the 4th goal against Offaly in their most recent game, so she come on and got a goal in that game as well. So Lennon, one to watch. In fact, I remember listening to the commentary and saying, did they say Leisha? So it's Rosha. Rosha, got it. You see, the southern pronunciations are different as well. I mean, we say Kiva, you say Quiva. So
I think poor Rosha Lemon, she was excellent in the league final when she came on as well, and it was Rosie saves the day, but she's Rosha.
No.
So
for the Rossies.
Rosie for the Rossies saves the day.
Fleming, her tail is up, and she's trying to get her team going and puts it into Higgins. So many times today the ball just hadn't stuck in the forwards. It's a tough day for the forwards just to get clean possession, and with so many defenders around there as well, and that's why the scores have been quite low. We've only had 11 scores in the entire game, but this is good forward play by Kieran Nolan, driving forward. Lots of yellow Primrose jerseys around her, but she comes back out. 1-6 plays 4, 9 plays 4, 5-point lead for Roscommon. They've just moved up from 3 to 5 in the last couple of minutes. Roscommon in a good position, but here's a chance. Oh, it's come off the post. Very unlucky for Louth, and Caroline Conway reads it really well and rescues the day. And Roscommon survive there, but Louth knocking on the door. Conway again, left-footed kick up looking for McHugh, but it might actually get to a Roscommon player in the end, but no, McLaughlin gets there. Lots of heart and endeavour from Louth. They're so keen to do well in this big occasion for them. And Kavanagh driving forward as she has done throughout the second half. That's brilliant play by her, but she was brought down by O'Rourke.
Lisa and Kavanagh, but Lisa took her out there.
It's such a strange game. You feel like whispering at times. The crowd here is so quiet. We're in and amongst them, and it's not a rip-roaring game, and the crowd aren't getting really involved in it, and that tells its own story.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that probably the stop-start really isn't helping that either.
There's a very obvious silence here, but it might change. This is Louth's number 30 who's come on, and I've lost my team list, but I can tell you it's Anya Breen. She's on the ball now and slips it in to Collins. Collins has been very good in this game, but they're forced to come all the way back out to Halligan. Halligan gives it inside. Louth been very patient and moving the ball well. And it's another of their subs, number 29, and that is Jenny McCourt. And the kick comes in, and it's just gone to the right and wide. And Louth trying so hard to get back into this game, and unlucky a few times there, coming really, really close.
I think Roscommon are forcing Louth to kick from distance, and that's resulted in 3 wides in a row.
1-6 to 4 points it remains for Roscommon. Scores at a premium. That's good work by McHugh to get on the end of that long kick out from Cummins, and she immediately transfers it, but it goes over the end line on the far side. I'm just checking actually, that substitute who's in there for Louth, Anya Breen. I'm wondering, is that the same Anya Breen that I saw playing, would you believe, I'm going to show off now, in San Diego about 3 weeks ago? I think she was playing out there for one of the teams. I think it was for the local Nafiana team out there, but it's the same name. She's definitely from Louth, definitely an excellent player as well. So I'm wondering, is that the same girl who starred at the West Coast State Farm San Diego Sevens out there in Southern California, nearly in Mexico? And here she is today in Kinnegad coming on for Louth. Both teams rolling on a few subs. 25 is out there as well. Or no, that's actually the Louth player who's in from the start. That's Rebecca Lamb-Sally. Or Holly Lamb-Sally, sorry. The goalkeeper's Rebecca Lamb-Fagan, but you can see why I got that mixed up. There's a lot of names there.
There's a substitution there in the Roscommon team as well. Jenny Higgins has just gone off, and Niamh Shanaher's gone in on the edge of the square.
Is that a surprise?
Niamh is an excellent basketball player. She's brilliant in the air, so if that's the tactic to put the ball into Niamh's great hands. So
no, I'm not surprised at all about her coming in. I'm saying, is it a surprise that Jenny Higgins has been taken off?
Jenny I think she took a bit of a knock on the up at the top there in the last passage of play that resulted in the Laura Fleming point. So unless she was suffering from that.
Yeah, and she wasn't getting into the game as much, and wasn't winning as much ball in there as she normally would. Wasn't as mobile. Maybe you're right. This is better from Roscommon though. And they've worked it to Lisa O'Rourke, and she slips it into Fleming, and Fleming shoots low. Oh, just comes off the post, I think, and might end up as a score. It does in the end. And Lisa O'Rourke involved there, and they nearly landed a knockout blow, Roscommon, but Fleming so unlucky. Went for goal, didn't quite get it, but it makes it 1-7 to 4 points, and the Rossies are in control here and looking good for a place in the semi-finals.
Yeah, excellent score from Rochelle Lennon. Laura Fleming, unfortunate there. She's getting a little bit more space in the second half than she did in the first.
So Louth find themselves 6 points down. They've only scored 4 points in this game, and they're finding it tough in the second half. They've only scored 1 point in the second half. And Roscommon have just tagged on a few points there. It's a hard game to get into, I have to be honest, as a commentator, and it's even harder for Louth to get into. They're really struggling to just get going in any fluidity in it, but now it's Roscommon on the run. They seem to have no problems that way at all. Feeney involved again, McHugh involved again, but then she spills it and comes back to Feeney. Feeney slips it into Fleming, and she will give it to McHugh, and off she goes. Fleming is just involved in everything for Roscommon. Roscommon forced to come back out, and they don't mind doing that. So much easier for the team that are 6 points ahead. There's no urgency there. They don't feel that mad desire to get in there. But there's an interesting crossfield ball, but it goes straight to Aoife Halligan, and I'm sure the Roscommon management won't describe it as an interesting ball. They've given possession away. Now there's a cynical challenge by Aisling McAuliffe, and the referee will pull that back, and there could be a yellow card in here. And you saw what she was doing, and you just hate to see it as well, but you can understand from her point of view why she was doing it, but it's a cynical challenge.
Yeah, it was a cynical foul from Aisling right in the middle of the field. I think she's getting away with just a second tick there, so she's probably lucky, to be fair, not to be handed a yellow card, but all coming from a lack of patience and an interesting ball, as he called it, put into the forward line, which probably shouldn't have gone in.
But if a team can't be allowed to hit you on the break with a foul and they get away with it, I mean, that's, from a Louth point of view, that must be very frustrating. And we're back to where we were again, another stop-start situation, and the defender wins there.
Yeah, 100%, and it was the same in the first half when it was vice versa. It's been a bit of a theme of this match.
Is it that thing where, is it enough to be a straight yellow card?
Well, in the rules of the game, it should be. It's the cynicism was high, it was over the shoulder, so by the letter of the law.
Yeah, well, Roscommon remain with 15 players, and Louth didn't protest too much, but you tend to find that in ladies football a lot. They don't really go in with a big protest. That was a men's game. They'd be screaming and roaring for a card.
And I suppose the interesting part was, as we said in the first half, it was in the same area of the pitch that happened in the first half.
Cummins, the goalkeeper, does really well there under a dropping ball. Kept her composure there. Good steady goalkeeping, but as I say that, she's been blown for over-carrying. And the referee now giving Louth the golden opportunity to get themselves nudged back into the game. 1-7 to 4 points is the score. And it's Collins coming over to take it, and you would imagine this will be much easier than the one she had on the other side earlier in the half. 1-7 plays 4, 6 points in it. Louth want to bring that down to 5, and they do. Is there a big finish in Louth? That's the question, Emma.
Laura Collins is keeping them in the match with her scores. She's single-handedly, if I'm not mistaken, she's the only scorer for Louth today.
Rebecca Carr got one as well. Elsewhere, Clare 2-8, Longford 2 points. Clare going extremely well in that one. That's on the other side of the draw. The winners of this will play Wexford or Tyrone, and the latest from that is that it's Wexford 1-7, Tyrone 1-2. Great goal by Ciara Banville. So at the minute it's looking like Wexford against Roscommon. I have to say, Emma, I don't see enough of a threat from Louth. I mean, they haven't had any goal chances that I can remember, and there's more goal chances at the other end. We saw this girl Fleming with a goal chance. She hit the post a few minutes ago, and she's driving forward again, as she always does. What a smashing player she is. But Louth just don't seem to have that threat at the other end. Now it's O'Rourke going through the middle. She gets fouled and she draws another foul. And he could have given a free for either of those, but good, strong, direct running by Lisa O'Rourke to get the free. But do you take my point?
Yeah, Laura Fleming's just excellent there. Lisa O'Rourke driving through. There hasn't been the same threat, the driving threat from the 45 forward on the Louth side, but they have been good for goals in previous matches, so you just don't know and this is so close and so tight scoring and low scoring that another goal could change this game.
Well, Louth don't tend to score that many goals. They do keep the scores down much more than in the Roscommon games. That is noticeable as Fleming converts. I mean, Louth against Down, the only goal came, I think, in about the 63rd minute of the game from a breakaway, so they're more focused on defence and maybe change tactics here and really go for it in the last 10 minutes.
Well, it's interesting on their own kick out that they've actually pushed an awful lot of their forwards back to ensure that they're winning their own kick out.
Right. Look at that tackling from Roscommon, really good though. Hunting in packs, turning the ball over, and Roscommon are in control. Conway gives it out to O'Rourke. That's a lovely pass and well taken as well by O'Rourke. Tug on the jersey, but she keeps going and is allowed to keep going. There's no stopping the world champion boxer, and she runs into traffic again, and that's the second time in a couple of minutes her really forceful running has drawn a free.
Yeah, Lisa O'Rourke, excellent running. I think jersey was pulled, she was fouled twice, 3 times, and just keeps going, but she's the type that just puts the ball down and trots away. Excellent example of a dual sports person. Super addition to the Roscommon team this year.
Another substitution being announced there. I think it's Kieran Nolan, number 5 for Louth, has gone off. It's quite hard to see them all because they're over the far side, and I'm trying to follow the play. Actually, it looks like
Ashley
the number 6. It is Ashley McAuliffe for Roscommon has gone off.
Kate Nolan has come in.
Kate Nolan, that's who it is. Sorry. Apologies to Kieran Nolan, who plays for Louth. I heard the name Nolan and I thought she was off, but it's another Nolan.
Kate has been out for a long time since the league final with an injury, so it's great to see her back.
Short kick out, possession for Lamb Sally. Can Louth work it through the hands? That's nice, intricate play. This is where they need to try and break the line. Can they get through? A little bit of room here, but Roscommon working very, very hard to get back again. That's brilliant work again by Niamh Feeney to hold it up. And although she gives away a free, she has held up the attack. That's the important thing. There's a little bit of rain in the air again, making it a little bit trickier. Lovely ball out to the right, and there's a chance here. Now the kick comes in from distance, and I'm Not sure that was the right option.
It definitely wasn't. There was actually players inside on the edge of the square. You know, definitely was the better option to either recycle or put the ball in on top of the goalkeeper.
So the score 1-9 to 5 points now. That is 12 plays 5, and Roscommon have got themselves a 7-point lead. They are in a commanding position, and here is their number 7, who's been really excellent in this game and in other games. That's Aoife Russell for Louth. Number 7 I was referring to is really good. Niamh Feeney must be one of the contenders for player of the match, but we'll talk about that later. Louth not out of it yet, but need to do something quickly. Shannon McLaughlin feeds the ball in. And look how many Roscommon players are back there making it so difficult, but they might find a route. Shot comes in, and they do get a point out of it. I was thinking that might be a goal chance. Goes over the bar, and they'll take that for now, but great work by Roscommon there, trying to keep them out. Look how many players are there. 4, 6, 7, 11, 12 players back there for Roscommon, making it so difficult for Louth. And Louth need a sight of goal, but it's very difficult out there for them now. And the rain is also pelting down and making it really, really doubly difficult.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's another substitution there in the Roscommon team. Ellen Irwin has just come in for Fiona Tully, who had an excellent game.
You can hear the rain on the roof of the stand. So Louth really are going to have to dig this one out.
They have 4.5 minutes to hold on here. 6 points advantage. Louth are coming from with the Roscommon defence well. As I said earlier, sticking than a stamp. Now defending today. Laura Fleming outstanding in the middle of the park for Roscommon. Ashley Hanley got that crucial goal right before half time. Louth now coming. Louth once again trying to sneak inside. Roscommon well. Roscommon have everybody's back almost back. The stopwatch. 26 minutes gone. Almost 26 and a half minutes gone. Half time goal 43. Roscommon got 5 points second half. Louth have got 3 points. So Roscommon have no particular hurry to kick it. And Laura Fleming with 5 points between them.
Substitution on the Louth team, number 21, Katie Matthews, replaces number 7, Aoife Russell.
This is good by Rachel Brady. Really solid at the pinning of the wing back. And sure to say that she gives the ball away. And now overturn Roscommon. Can they manufacture a score here? Free in for Louth. Recycling possession. Inside the 45. Neil McNamara is off the outskirts of the 45 meter line. Trying to bypass the Roscommon defence now.
It's been brilliant. Yeah, hand in there from Niamh Feeney. I think it was for a previous foul, but her hand in there stopped the Louth play.
1-9 plays 6 points here in Kinnegad in the 2022 All-Ireland TG4 Intermediate Championship quarter-finals. We may have gone off there for a minute or so, but good to be back again. Sorry about that, but you haven't missed anything. Might miss something now if we go off though. What an effort! Oh my goodness, crashes off the bar from Collins and brilliantly defended, and I think it was Conway who got out there first and clears it again, and a brilliant clearance too. The counter attack is on, and that really has summed up the game. That little cameo there. Louth coming so close. That's their best chance of the game. That's the closest they've come. A little bit of desperation about it, going for a goal there, coming off the crossbar. Very unlucky, but really brilliant defending by Roscommon as well. They have only conceded 6 points in the entire game, and that tells a story. They get it out to Feeney once more. And Feeney and Fleming have done so much damage in this game. They're so good for their team. And just as I say that, Feeney drops the ball and gives it away. McLaughlin looks inside, gives a good ball inside. Collins is all the way back there. A little bit of soccer skill to protect the ball there. Roscommon have players back. Louth are getting to that point where they really, really need a goal. Kavanagh is making a run off camera way over on the far side. The attack coming in, I think that's Halligan. And the two Halligans are out there now. That's 28. So I think that is Shona Halligan is out there now for Louth. She got a goal late in the down game. How much her sister here, Aoife, would love to see a goal from any of them at this point in the game to try and keep Louth in it. Oh, but she's blowing for over carrying, and there is that sense of desperation there for Louth.
Yeah, Louth have gone to full on desperation football. But look, we were expecting that. It had to come at some stage. You know, it is quarter-final football, it's knockout football, so they're throwing the bus at it at this stage.
It is 1-9 to 6. Double scores, 12 plays 6. Roscommon in charge. Elsewhere, Tyrone against Wexford. It's 1-9 to 1-3 for Wexford. 6 points up there as well. So it looks like Roscommon with Roisin Wynne driving forward for them. And now Feeney giving it into Fleming, but good interception by Lam Sally. They get it back. This is Sinead Kenny all the way up there in attack. She's helping out now. There's a few players down. Play goes on. McHugh is there. Fleming decides to go on her own. Puts it over. Another expert score from an expert player, the captain of Roscommon, and they look to be going through. It's now 1-10 to 6. Roscommon in charge.
Yeah, brilliant incisive running from Sinead Kenny, who kept up with the attack all the way through that. Rocha Lennon was very brave in a tackle, and she's the player down injured here for Roscommon.
So a little bit of a hold-up. Both teams get a chance to get their breath back. Would have been so interesting if that chance had went in at the other end for a goal for Roscommon. That would have made it 1-9 to 1-6. Instead, it is 1-10 to 6 because Fleming has put over another point.
Laura Fleming really has had the shooting boots on today. She's been excellent, particularly in the second half where she's kind of gotten a little bit more space. She was being marked by 2 and 3 players every time in the first half, and she's just worked her way into space a lot of the time.
I've been watching quite a few of the Roscommon games, and she either scores them or makes them and drives through, breaks tackles all the time. She's such a force there, a bundle of energy.
The epitome of a captain, really. She leads by example, Laura.
1-10 to 6. 13 plays 6. A 7-point lead for Roscommon. But Louth have plenty of fight in them. They are going to keep going right to the end. There's plenty of life in them, as you see from Cavan, and she's fouled again there, and it's her midfield opposite number Fleming who fouls her. And I have to say, from a Louth point of view, it's been quite frustrating. They've been fouled quite a lot, and it's particularly Cavan trying to go through the middle. And you know the way the rules are in the game, Roscommon, you know, they haven't had a single player put off for a lot of the fouling, and there's another one. Maybe it'll be now, but you know, you see that in a lot of these games, and you think, is the punishment enough, and is it too late in the game when cards eventually come?
It's Lisa O'Rourke, I think, is in a bit of bother here with the ref.
I mean, there was one about 10 minutes ago that could have had a big influence on the way the game went, and you were saying, and I was sort of backing you up as well, that maybe it should have been a yellow card, and I don't see an awful lot of difference from that one. But at that point earlier in the game, it could have been a huge difference. Yeah,
and now it is a yellow card for Lisa O'Rourke, so she's making her way off the pitch there.
But is it too late to make any difference, you know, and which means that that sort of tackling that they have been doing, now to be fair, there's been a bit of that on both sides, but you know, the particular one earlier on, it stopped the counter attack, so it really made it very, very difficult for Louth, and they're restricted then to chances from frees. She's just going to drop that in there, Collins, and hope that somebody gets it in a red shirt, and they do get it. It's McLaughlin who leaves it off. Kick comes in. Oh, it's sliced wide, and they don't get anything from it in the end.
It's 2 Roscommon players down on her boot straight away.
Yeah, I don't mean to be hard on all that on either the rules or on Roscommon. It's just the way the game is at the moment. But sometimes when you're watching it as a neutral, it's a bit frustrating.
It is a bit frustrating.
You want to see the game flow.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think it is because it has been so stop-start.
It's all over, and Roscommon have gone through 110 to 6 points. They have prevailed by 7 points, and it's Roscommon who will go through probably to play Wexford in the All-Ireland semi-finals. Great result for the Rossies. They have won this convincingly here in the end against a very courageous Louth team, and they have just about deserved it.
Yeah, look, Roscommon defence are excellent today, reducing Louth to just 6 points. You know, a terrific performance by them. Standout performance probably from Laura Fleming. Her score is literally just keeping Roscommon taking over in the second half, and they kept the scoreboard ticking over, and that was the story in the end.
The key thing was the goal, I think, towards the end of the first half. It came out of nothing for Roscommon, but on the balance of play, they had a few more goal incidents, shall we say, than Louth did.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Louth had a couple in the end, but the attacking threat was probably more there and more prominent from Roscommon. Great turnover from Aisling McAuliffe for the goal, and it gave Roscommon that cushion and that boost going into half time, which they carried into the second half as well.
Now, your contenders for player of the match and your player of the match, Emma Murphy.
Niamh Feeney from Roscommon was excellent. I thought Laura Fleming from Roscommon was excellent. Laura Collins for Louth, very much a standout player. But for her tenacity, her work rate, and her scores in the end, I'd be giving it to Laura Fleming.
Can't argue with that. Absolutely not. What a performance by her, and she's been one of the players of the championship so far. And how impressed are you by this Roscommon team, and how far do you think they can go?
Look, I mean, they're an up-and-coming team, Roscommon. I think I think they got a massive boost from the National League. I think the provincial championships didn't go their way. They were missing some players there as well. But they've a lot of belief, and they're very well organised, very well schooled. We saw that today. They've really threatening forwards. They're not over-reliant on one player. They've a lot of threat right across the pitch. And the additions back into the team and throughout the year of Lisa O'Rourke, Niamh Feeney and Fiona Tully, you saw them again being standout players today and their influence on the game. So it's knockout football. It looks like another game against Wexford, which is a repeat of the National League final. So that'll be a bit of a humdinger, I'm sure. But, it's a wide open draw in the intermediate at the moment, and any team can win it. But Roscommon have all the calibre that's needed to win in All-Ireland. But let's see how they get on at the semi-final stage.
Yeah, they have a nice balance there. Younger players, older players, experience, and the players who can come in as well. And they seem to be in a good place at the minute. But that game against Wexford you mentioned in the league final, very low scoring, and Roscommon will feel they left that behind them. So that'll be a humdinger of a semi-final. Yeah,
no, absolutely. And I mean, what you say about younger players, you see the influence of Aisling Hanley and Fiona Tully, and they've a great panel, Roscommon, of younger girls coming through. I thought Michaela McHugh was actually excellent and really efficient today, playing in around midfield. Rachel Brady was excellent in defence, 2 or 3 turnovers from her, and Rachel Fitzmaurice and Roisin Wynne were real workhorses as well. So they have got a great balance right across the between attacking and defence, and I think their wing backs are especially threatening. Both big runners in Roisin Wynne and Niamh Feeney, and 2 players that can actually change a game.
Having said all that, it's not confirmed yet that Wexford have actually gone through, but they were 6 points ahead against Tyrone there. Actually, that was a half-time score, so maybe that has changed a little bit. So maybe Tyrone not out of it yet, but I don't see any change to that one at the moment. But Tyrone obviously were one of the favourites in the championship, and there's another score. I'm just checking. Actually, it was 1-8 to 1-3, and that's on the Wexford Twitter feed. So they had only 5 points in it at half-time, and they maybe didn't realise they were 6 ahead. I'm just trying to check, and the Tyrone Twitter feed doesn't have any change to that. So I'm just trying to see before we go off if there's any dramatic change to that. No, I don't see anything on that at the moment. So we will wait and we will see on that one. But we are done here in Kinnegad with the first game. We have another live stream coming up. That's Laois against Wicklow. I can see the teams warming up on the pitch over to our left. But for now, it's the Rossies in the foreground in the primrose and blue, and it's Louth and the red in the background, who are out of the championship after a brave championship campaign with so much good stuff from them and so much optimism for the future. But it's Roscommon who go forward to the semi-finals. From the whole team here in Kinnegad, it's goodbye.